Olenek the board, and Dragic on the move. Dragic taking on Bellinelli, finds Johnson for the throwdown. James Johnson in the right spot.
Philadelphia 76ers as he gets his hands on that back
and forth they go. Dragic takes the contact.
G'day guys, Crazy back with another NBA season preview, and today we're looking at the Miami Heat. At time of recording, we're still unsure whether D.Wade is going to suit up for the Heat this year. If he does play, he's already confirmed it will be for the Heat, but we'll go ahead with the assumption that he doesn't play. Last year, they picked up a 44-38 record. Eric Spoelstra's men, they're a consistent outfit every year. He's one of the most underrated coaches in the league. The second longest tenured coach behind only Greg Popovich. He just puts a good team on the court every year that are always highly competitive, and he gets even performances from everyone on this roster. That first round matchup didn't go their way last year, taken out in 5 games by the Sixers. Goran Dragic leads this team at the point guard position. He's now the second most popular Slovenian in the NBA, after Luka Doncic will make his debut for the Dallas Mavericks. Goran is just rock solid, 17.3 points, 4.8 assists, 4.1 rebounds. Goran just goes about his work, just puts up good numbers every single year. He's shaped out a hell of a career for himself, and I think he gets quite overlooked in the realms of such a great point guard era. Dion Waiters, we only got to see Waiters Island in 30 appearances last year. He was still putting up his usual 14.3 points, 3.8 assists. Dion's a very important player for this team. They get such even contributions. He's the guy that can take over in the fourth quarter, and is definitely not afraid to take that big shot. So they'll be hoping for a healthy year from Waiters Island, because he can provide some much needed punch for this team. Josh Richardson at the small forward, he's just improved year after year, and a lot of players really rate this guy highly for his defense. 12.9 points, 3.5 rebounds, just under 3 assists, and 1.5 steals per game. He seems to be able to match up on just about anybody. He got good length, very good athlete, suited up 81 times last year, and he's one of the most improved players in the NBA. Kelly O. Kelly's a fiery character, and I think he'd be a good guy to have on your team. 11.5 points, 5.7 rebounds. He brings a good energy to this team. He can get hot with the best of them. He can knock down shots. He can stretch the floor. He's a very good 4-man, and he doesn't make many mistakes. With Kelly, you know what you're getting. At the centre position, big Hassan Whiteside. Limited to 54 games last year, still put up his 14 points, 11.4 rebounds per game, and 1.7 blocks. The downside to his season came in the playoffs, when he just did not seem to have a role against that Sixers squad. 15 minutes a night, 5 points and 6 rebounds, and he was more than a tad disgruntled with his role. He was very public that he was upset with how he was being used, and I wasn't going to be shocked if he got traded over the off-season, but they appear to have sorted things out, and he's back. That's a pretty damn solid starting 5, and you know what you're going to get from each of those guys. The Miami Heat, they have a rock-solid bench. Wayne Ellington comes off that bench 77 times last year, 11.2 points, and just shoots his threes at a tick over 39%. He can really light up that 3-point shot and stretch the floor, and he's one of the best backups in the league coming off of that bench. James Johnson, very angry looking man. I would want no part of him, and he even went after Ben Simmons in the playoffs last year, and I don't think Ben really wanted any part of that either. 73 games last year for James, 10.8 points, 4.9 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and a steal a game. You can't get much more of a complete player off the bench. Plays hard, defends hard, and I'd back him nearly in a street fight against any player in the NBA. Justice Winslow, my guy, 68 games, 7.8 points, 5.4 rebounds, hits his threes at 38%, but I've just expected a lot more out of Justice than what he's shown in his first few years in the league, and I think this is a little bit of a make or break year to show what he can actually do. He's physically very gifted. I think he's a very good all-round player, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't translated so far to the NBA, and he just hasn't taken over. I thought he was going to be a starter on this Heat team and be the guy to carry the torch from D.Wade, but so far he hasn't done it, but he's still young enough to show that he can carry this team. Tyler Johnson, he's another rock solid player off this bench. 11.7 points, 3.4 rebounds. He can come on and give you some points and give you some very, very good minutes. He's just another cog in that very good Heat bench. Bam Adebayo, rookie last year, suited up 69 times, just under 7 points, 5.5 rebounds, and just over half a block a game. He's a big guy, good athlete, can finish at the rim. I expect he could break out even more in his second season and become a very, very good backup to this team. And whatever happened to Bam Margera? Bam Margera was one of the biggest stars of the early 2000s, and then he's just never been seen again. I hope you're doing alright, Bam. I always found you very entertaining. The rest of this bench, they signed Derek Jones Jr., and at time of writing, they still had quite a few names on this roster. There was Briante Weber, ex-Golden State great, Rodney McGruder, Marcus Lee, among others. That actually forms one of the deeper benches in the Eastern Conference, and they get some very solid contributions, and there's not much of a drop-off, so this team can play pretty hard for 48 minutes every night. So what do we expect from the 2018-19 Miami Heat? I think you're just going to get a very, very solid, consistent team, same as they are every year. Eric Spoelstra gets his men ready to play. They're always conditioned hard, they're always fit, and they play hard every night. They've got a very, very solid starting five, and they've got good backups at pretty much every position. The X factor, of course, is if D.Wade does come back. He gives this team a few extra wins, and he's just such a professional guy. Everyone benefits from having D.Wade around. I need a breakout year from Justice Winslow. I think Justice is one of those guys who's still got some untapped potential. I think he's one of those guys who could really add something to this squad. I expect them to go around about the 44 to 48 win mark again. They'll make the playoffs. I'm just not sure they've got quite enough to blast themselves into that top of that Eastern Conference. And again, they're going to face another pretty tough matchup in the opening round of the playoffs. But the Heat will be there. They're always there. They're one of the more entertaining teams to watch. They give you everything they've got every night, and I expect more of the same from the Heat. What about you guys? What do you think the 2018-19 Miami Heat do? Would love to hear from you in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any feedback, feel free to pop it in the comments. If you enjoyed that video, feel free to tap that like button. Maybe even give us a subscribe so you know when the latest videos are out. Thank you very much for watching.